Sam Heughan's portrayal of Jamie Fraser in the Outlander series is a prime example of how some actors are born for certain career roles. Heughan has had several memorable moments over the show's 6 seasons, as his characters go through various eras of love and grief. This video will talk about some of the best moments when Sam Heughan played Jamie Fraser in his time in the Outlander series. Starting us off is Season 1, Episode 2, Castle Yuck, in which Claire sees Jamie's scars for the first time. Jamie Fraser is a quiet, confused man who is dedicated to the Lords of Castle Yuck when we first encounter him back in Season 1. His enthusiasm and desire were present from the start, even if he wasn't yet the guy he would later become. Jamie's shy, quiet personality was brilliantly portrayed by Sam Heughan. It was so genuine and sympathetic that it was evident that Heughan would make Outlander extraordinary after just 2 episodes. The first episode focuses on Claire and her time-traveling disaster, but Sam Heughan reveals Jamie's sensitive side in the second episode of the season. Claire observes the horrific wounds carved on Jamie's back while healing his arm. It was our first encounter with them, and this was a watershed moment for Jamie and Claire. Despite only knowing her for a few days, he opens up to her for the first time. Heughan vividly and honestly brings Jamie's account of the scars to life in a way that makes it difficult to forget. The agony in Jamie's eyes as he recalls the Redcoats' invasion of Lallybroch draws you in. As he reflected on the distressing memories of Blackjack Randall beating him to a pulp, you would want to give dear old Jamie a big hug for being so open with Claire. Heughan never ceased dazzling us after that. Next up is Season 1, Episode 7, The Wedding, when Jamie and Claire awkwardly consummate their relationship. For his portrayal of wedding jitters in this season's premiere episode, Sam Heughan deserves praise. As he and Claire begin their wedding night, Jamie struggles to understand how this whole consummation thing works. Like an anxious adolescent, he enters this situation as a virgin and has no idea what to do. Claire is lovely about it all, but it's a difficult position, with the two of them getting married to shield Claire from the British, but having to consummate it to make it legal. Think of the pressure. The closeness of the situation is quite moving, despite its awkwardness. It's lovely, genuine, and raw, and both Heughan and Katrina Balfe do it right. One of the first times we truly see the depth of the bond between these two characters is at this point. It's not only one of Heughan's greatest performances as Jamie, it's one of the best emotional scenes in the entire series of Outlander. Then, we have Season 2, Episode 8, titled Preston Pans, Jamie Wins the Day. One of my favorite battles on the show, and maybe still my favorite, is the Battle of Preston Pans. The fact that Sam Heughan portrays Jamie Fraser convincingly may be the main factor. The British outnumber the Highlanders in soldiers and weapons in this combat. Thus, the odds are stacked against them, but Jamie continues to build up their enthusiasm despite this. It also works. The Highlanders triumph. Everything Jamie does in this battle is fantastic. As we watch him, we discover what an astute strategist he can be, which may not have occurred to us when we first met him. You grasp the sides of your chair and pay close attention to Jamie's every word, as Heughan, the protagonist of this fight, commands your attention. Sam Heughan deserves praise for his perfect performance. This is the genuine deal, people. Following that is Season 3, Episode 4, titled Of Lost Things, where Jamie and William part ways. Season 3 of Lost Things was a tearjerker for individuals who would get worked up over emotional situations involving children. Jamie Fraser's life turned for the worse after the Battle of Culloden, but nothing was more unexpected and amazing than his unexpected fatherhood. Jamie discovers he will be a dad after being forced into a one-night encounter by Geneva Dunsany, the Hellwater Estate's daughter. He hadn't even met Brianna, so the idea of being a parent was entirely alien to him. It would continue to be one. William was Jamie's illegitimate child, and that fact was kept a secret to save William the turmoil that would ensue if his origins were made public. Jamie saw Willie grow up to a certain point, when their similarities began to seem uncanny, even though he could never be a genuine parent to him. When Sam Heughan portrays this time in Jamie's life, there is something delicate and lovely. It makes sense that he is perplexed, enthusiastic, and overwhelmed. When he had to say goodbye to Willie for the last time, Heughan's performance made it all genuine and painful. We have when Jamie and Brianna first meet in Season 4, Episode 9, titled The Birds and the Bees. The episode primarily focuses on Brianna's even though the episode was Jamie and Brianna's first encounter. Thus, looking back on it is bittersweet. This one has a lot of mixed emotions. Were we rejoicing in the reunion of father and daughter, or were we attempting to make sense of Brianna's ordeal at the hands of Stephen Bonnet? So, I'd like to concentrate on the lighter side of this episode. Sam Heughan finds comedy in the Jamie and Brianna encounter, since it is the last thing he expects his daughter to do in his era, while he is looking for a place to relieve himself. Jamie mistakenly believes Brianna is another woman after him, making things even more awkward, but the expression on his face when he discovers it's Brianna says it all. The combination of fear and exhilaration that Heughan provides is perfect. Sam Heughan's ability allows such a delicate moment to succeed. Even though it follows immediately after a tragic event, I adore everything about the connection between Brianna and Jamie. We have eagerly awaited this moment to see the beginning of a complex yet significant father-daughter connection. Sam Heughan deserves praise for bringing this scene home, as does Sophie Skelton. So, next up is the scene where Jamie and Claire parted ways in Season 2, Episode 13, the end of the Battle of Culloden and the unavoidable unavoidable result Claire had foretold to Jamie were revealed in Dragonfly and Amber. Initially, there was hope that they could alter the course of history, but it quickly became obvious that wasn't going to happen. In the farewell moment, where two lovers part ways, knowing they could never see each other again, Sam Heughan is outstanding. They both genuinely believe they won't. The fact that Claire was carrying Brianna at the time, after miscarrying their first child, makes it all the more heartbreaking. Sam Heughan and Katrina Balfe's performances here were so intensely passionate that it was overwhelming. The mixture of fatigue, glossiness, and affection is evident in Jamie's eyes. Even though it most certainly means he will return to the fray to perish, he is sending her away to keep her safe. It ranks highly among Outlander's most heartbreaking scenes. Then we have Season 5, Episode 9, with the title Monsters and Heroes, where Jamie almost dies. Outlander's most recent season gave us a serious fright. Jamie goes out hunting with his son-in-law Roger, played by Richard Rankin, and things quickly turn sour when he gets bitten by a snake. I came to terms with the possibility that Sam Heughan's performance as Jamie Fraser was his last at some point in this episode. Nothing could be done to save his life because it was the 17th century, and it did seem that bad. Fortunately, Brianna comes up with a brilliant plan to save her father in the subsequent episode. Because of Sam Heughan's excellent portrayal, we feel Jamie is at risk of dying. Because of Heughan's ability as an actor, it almost feels like he's the one who's been poisoned, not Jamie. Heughan had to act through not just the snake bite, but also the emotions Jamie felt as he came to terms with the knowledge that he was about to die. I don't think he ever expected to spend his dying moments with Roger, whom he hasn't warmed up to. In the episode, the relationship undergoes a sea change, and we adore how Heughan depicts Jamie's growing affection for his son-in-law. He allows some of Jamie's fragility to shine, which is always refreshing to watch. Coming up is Sam Heughan's second best moment as Jamie Fraser in Season 2, Episode 6, where Jamie duels Blackjack Randall. We will never forget seeing Jamie endure the terrible moment Blackjack Randall inflicted on him in Wentworth Prison. It's one of the saddest, most startling, and most disturbing scenes in the entire series of Outlander, which is why it's so rewarding to see best-laid schemes and see justice done. Jamie is upset after finally seeing Blackjack Randall for the first time since the assault, and we don't blame him. We all understood why Jamie would want to compete against Blackjack Randall when the opportunity arose. This episode features a fierce performance from Sam Heughan. There's something different about him in this one, from how he stares at Blackjack Randall with hatred in his eyes, to how he pushes on with the duel despite Claire's worries. Of course, Jamie's story does not end well, as he is arrested for taking part in a duel. Heughan persuaded us why Jamie would act the way he did, even if it weren't the best course of action, even if it were just for a little while, and Jamie felt vindicated, even if it was only momentary. Finally, Sam Heughan's best moment as Jamie Fraser is in Season 5, Episode 7, with the title The Ballad of Roger Mack, at the scene where Murtaugh dies in Jamie's arms. It has always been lovely to observe the bond between Jamie and his godfather Murtaugh, played by Duncan Lacroix. The relationship between them remained unbroken even when they were separated. This is why the episode is so tough to watch. Jamie is made to wear the British redcoat and fight on the side opposite his godfather during the Battle of Alamance, much to his chagrin. Of course, Jamie doesn't want to injure him, but a war is a battle, and we soon find Murtaugh breathing his last breaths. Heughan's visage, with desperation welling in his eyes, immediately comes to mind whenever I recall this scene. Heughan appears to be sincerely in grief over the death of a loved one. It is horribly compelling and utterly realistic. This experience, and the emotional damage it inflicted on me, will always be in my memory. By the time it was through, I was fatigued, so I had yet to learn how Heughan did it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Sam Heughan should be nominated for an Emmy this year because of this episode. So we are at the end of this video. Season 7 of Outlander will premiere sometime in 2023. Will we see more memorable moments where Heughan plays Jamie Fraser? Your comments are welcome in the section below. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.